Hello, my friends, family, saints, and ain'ts. How are you? It's Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. So it's time for some radiant rap. That's what I like to call it. Hey, those are the things that I feel like we need to be healthy and whole, like rest and activity awareness, knowing what the heck we're doing, diet, introspection. That's our prayer, our meditation, those things so important. um Agua, well, diet, right? Did I say it right? Diet, introspection, agua, which is hydrating, note taking, just recording the things that we need to, the things we're learning, the things to stay organized, all those things, and then training. And I want to come back to um, a subject that is, I believe, very important. And it definitely is in my life because at 60 years old and being genetically uh, predisposed to this topic, this thing called hypertension, um, I've struggled with it. And a lot of it does have to be to do with just being genetically predisposed to it, and then my age. So I've learned a lot about it, and I believe that I have some solid strategies to help keep our blood pressure in an acceptable range. So I want to go into that, and I do have one or two suggestions that you might be a little bit surprised about. So hang in there with me. Let me first ask you the question, whether you're viewing this live or not, and you can answer publicly, privately, however. Do you have hypertension? Do you know if you have hypertension or not? And if you don't have hypertension, you know what? That's good for you. But chances are, out of if there's two people in a room, one of you have hypertension. Because in the United States, hey, there's my girl, Carla Renee. I just love her to pieces. Hi, Carla Renee. I miss you, girl. The chances are that out of, if you're in a room with two people, or you're in the room with 10 people or 100 people, half the adults in the room have hypertension. Yes, according to the Center of Disease and Control, half the people 21 and over have hypertension, and it increases with age. Statistically, between the ages of those between the ages of 21 and 39, over 22% of adults ages 22 to 39 have hypertension. What? I mean, that's crazy, but it's what it is. And then it goes up from there. So nearly half of us, have hypertension. Now, do you know what it is? I mean, do you really understand what hypertension is? Okay. When our heart beats, it puts pressure on the artery. It sends blood into the arteries, and it puts pressure against the artery walls. And hey, cousin, how are you, Sean? And this pressure, if it's too great, it could damage the artery walls over time. It can cause them to be less elastic. So there's two numbers. There's the systolic number, and if you listen, like if you hear blood pressure 120 over 80, that's a very good blood pressure, by the way. 110 over 70, even better. That top number that you hear is the systolic number, and the systolic number is the pressure against the arteries when the heart beats, how much pressure it puts against the arteries when it beats. And then the diastolic number, which is the bottom number, is the pressure in the arteries when the heart is at rest. Okay, so anything High blood pressure is considered anything greater than the systolic number being 130 and the diastolic being greater than 80. So I know a lot of people think, oh, well, my blood pressure is 140, I'm good. Or even 130. You know what? 130 is considered pre-hypertension. And those of us on blood pressure medication, which includes me. I had to go back on, I don't know if any of you have followed my journey with hypertension, but I was diagnosed with hypertension, and I do pretty good with exercise, diet and exercise, maintaining a healthy weight, eating. My diet is good. I do a lot of things, not perfect, but very well. And I even dramatic, and still by the time I was like 57, my blood pressure was getting not crazy high, but the technical hypertension over 130, over 80, and some days higher than that. And just came back from the doctor, 131 over 62. Interesting there. And so what I wanted to say about that is if you have the blood pressure over greater than the 130 top number, greater than the 80 bottom number, that's hypertension, or you're on medication for hypertension. That's me. I had to go back on medication. I cut out a lot of things from my diet, like coffee and meat and dairy. I mean, I became very plant-based. I don't, for just the sake of this conversation, vegan. I do take a collagen, which is not a vegan product, and I believe in taking that product. So for diehard vegan, then no, I still carry my leather purses and wear leather shoes. So, but for all purposes of this conversation, plant-based, and I was able to regulate my blood pressure with no medication for a year. And then at the end of that year, it started to go up again. And I can manage it sometimes and sometimes not. And sometimes it gets high. And I just started getting like really obsessed with every day, monitoring my blood pressure and being upset when it was too high. I'm talking, like 150 over 80 or 90 some days. And so I went back on blood pressure medication. And for me, that was the right thing for me to do. And it's, pretty good now. So, I don't want us to just think, it runs in my family. No, you don't know. I'm not saying no, it doesn't run in your family. I'm saying you don't know to what degree you can manage your blood pressure if you're doing the right things. These strategies I'm about to give you, then if you do those things and you're still, experiencing hypertension, then yeah, genetics is definitely playing a factor. And in my case, genetics and age, because as you age, over 60, over 50% of everyone over 60 has hypertension. So you combine that with genetics, then there you go. What else did I wanted to say about it? I told you it develops over time. It does have, or there are certain health conditions that having hypertension can attribute to, like even pregnancy can contribute to high blood pressure, right? High blood pressure, hypertension, but diabetes is one, and obesity is another. You can get hypertension by not being active enough, right? So lifestyle choices and foods that you eat, things like that can cause hypertension. Hey, Veronica, what's up? Miss McGriff, good to see you, my friend. Um, so what can happen if you have hypertension? Man, the things that can happen are horrific. For one, it can cause heart disease. And you know what the number one killer is in America? Nope, it's not accidents, it's not gunshot wounds, it's not COVID, it's not diabetes. No, it's heart disease. So hypertension can lead to this to these heart disease, which is caused by this damage to your arteries when it's less elastic. It can cause chest pain, it can cause a heart attack, it can cause heart failure. It can also cause stroke and brain problems. So when a stroke can attribute to brain problems, and they're also associating problems that can affect your brain in other ways later on, like your cognitive function and things like that. They are attributing that to problems that could have resulted from high blood pressure. And kidney function is another one, that chronic kidney disease, because the arteries within the kidneys, if they're shut off or not working well, your kidneys don't work well, then you're not emptying waste and getting rid of the waste in your body in a efficient way. You develop kidney disease. So, I mean, really, really bad problems, right? So let's go to what can we do? Now, these are the ones that I've talked about before. You need support with reducing. Carla, I got you, friend. I will help you. I can help you with that. And I know you do a lot of things well too. So some of that could be genetic as well. I think we've talked about a little of that. And so two of the things that we'll mention here may be helpful. So one, getting that 150 minutes of exercise a week. Now, if you're a math person, you just do the numbers. You can make that number work a whole lot of different ways. But basically, 150 minutes of exercise in a week comes out to 30 minutes of exercise 5 days a week. Okay. Now, once you break it down a little bit more, yes, that means you need to get some cardio, you need to get some strength training too, but getting that heart pumping is the 30 minutes of exercise that they're talking about. But there's other things that you need as well, okay? Not smoking, all right? And I see nowadays, it's not as offensive with the smoking because you've got these devices where it doesn't come out. You can be in all these different places and you got your little thing you're putting up to the mouth. It's still smoking, right? It's still just as bad and can cause heart disease just as well. Or you're smoking weed. It's just as bad. It's putting carcinogens in your lungs, poison in your lungs, okay? Eating a healthy diet is very, very important for hypertension. You want to have you want to minimize the salt and you want to minimize alcohol. And a lot of people don't realize when we say eating a healthy diet, minimize salt, and they'll say, well, I don't have a lot of salt. And I'll say, well, do you eat out? And they'll say yes. And I'll say, well, do you use canned foods? And they'll say yes. Well, if you eat out, if you use canned foods, if you eat a lot of processed foods, that all has sodium in it, okay? And then keeping a healthy weight. All right. That's very important. What is healthy weight for you? We're all made different. We're all built different, but there is a healthy weight for you. And you want to maintain your healthy weight. And then managing stress. We have to manage stress. So those are some that you would probably say, oh yeah, hypertension. I know I need to do these things. And there are some of them, or if not all of them, are easier said than done, because we all have, our struggles or challenges. So any of those things can be difficult for you, and you want to have accountability and support. And I'd love to be a part of your wellness team, to help you to have the accountability and support to get and achieve the goals that you need to, right? So we can live, not just exist, but live healthy and whole. So a couple of things that may surprise you is, first, that I want to say in terms of managing and staying in a healthy range for your blood pressure, is find out if you have high blood pressure. Because I asked a question at the top: do you have it, and do you know if you have it? Some of you don't even know, especially the younger ones, right? You don't know if you have it or not. And you cannot just go by, I went to the doctor and they took my blood pressure and whatever it was that day. That's not a real good indication. And I would say when you're younger, it pretty much is. If it's really in a 110/70, is that. But if it's borderline 129, 130/80 or 85, you know what? You could be really, that's a sign that you're heading for trouble. And so find out, first of all, if you have it. And one way to find out if you have it is to take your blood pressure regularly, meaning have your own blood pressure cuff. And that will do a couple of things. It gives you accountability, right? So you can know for real. And when you go to the doctor, you can show them the proof, right? And if you start making the changes with the other things that I recommended, and then your blood pressure starts to improve, you can show them the history of that. There's plenty of apps that you can download. I have one on my phone that's free. And I can give you that information if you'd like the one that I use. But it records the data. It's great. It's so simple and easy. You just need to have a blood pressure cuff, and you can get one that runs by batteries, automatic, and it does the thing for you. The other thing that having a blood pressure cuff does is it puts you in check. So I try to take my blood pressure, if not daily, several times a week. And lo and behold, I'll take my blood pressure and it'll be borderline high, maybe in the high, and I'll sit there for a few moments, calm myself down and breathe. That's that stress part of it. Calm myself down, breathe, focus on the grace of God, focus on, just the beauty around me, focus on gratitude, and within minutes, it'll come down. So that's another reason why having a blood pressure cuff and taking your blood pressure will help you, because it will be a reminder and it will be accountable. It will be a tool that you can use for accountability to chill the heck out, chillax. We're all like up in our heads, like, or even right now, I feel like maybe because I'm excited and things, and your pressure does fluctuate throughout the day. Just even if it's a good blood pressure, it will fluctuate. But taking the time to put that cuff on, it really are times during the day when it's a visual of, why is your blood pressure like that? Don't, and you want it to be nice and low. And that's with taking blood pressure medication. You can be taking your blood pressure medication and your blood pressure is still not in check. And then you're putting yourself at risk for those other things. Okay, so those are the things that I suggest that might surprise you that you do. You find out if you have it, and you get a blood pressure cuff, and then do the other things too. Manage the stress and get into a healthy weight and your diet and not smoking and exercising, those things as well. All right. Um, Let's see. Veronica's saying manage stress, low sodium diet, eat healthy. Yes, 100. Yes, yes, Veronica. Exactly right. So, as I mentioned, I've been on back on blood pressure medication, and it's just taken the stress, and not smoking. Correct. It's taken the stress out of it for me. I'd rather not be, and a lot of us, we'd rather not be on blood pressure medication. But that's the other thing. If you have hypertension, get on medication, even if it's for a short time, until you get the other things in check. You work on the other things, and then your blood pressure gets um, under control. But you don't want to go that extended period of time with your blood pressure out of control, because it's called a silent killer for a reason. Okay, I hope you found that helpful. If you have like suggestions or things that you would like me to talk about, then share them. Also, if we're not Facebook friends, friend me, find me on IG, follow me, I'll follow you back. And the same with TikTok and YouTube. I'm in all of those areas. I always joke about YouTube because I don't know, I've got a handful of followers there. I don't have a lot of followers anywhere, but yeah, I'd love for you to follow me, and I'm here for you. I believe in you, and I want for you to live healthy and whole. Um, I really, really do. And so if there's anything that I can do to help you to do that, then I want to encourage you if I have permission to do so. All right. I love you. And listen, you have greatness. You have greatness inside of you. And I believe in you. Have a great week. And I don't know. Maybe I will see you next Thursday. I don't know. It depends. I got a lot of cooking and stuff to do next Thursday, but enjoy the weekend, and I hope to see you soon. Thank you. Hey, my preacher brother friend is on. Hey, Ralph. Good to see you. Love you all. Bye for now.